Hi, this is Judy from Fox Cities Quilt Company, and this is Sunday from the Sewing Room. So tonight I'm going to finish my series on using scrap. So I had some scrap left over. Let me grab it here from a stash. These aren't really whole pieces, but I had enough left over and I thought this was pretty together, so I wanted to do something with it. And like a lot of you, I have a lot of scrap and I want to make sure that I use it up because, you know, a good fabric, it costs a lot of money and you want to be able to use it. So I had way more than I needed, and what I made was this crossbody cell phone bag. And it's really super simple and super cute. And I can fit my cell phone right in there, and I made the strap long enough to go all the way around me. I also put in a pocket here so that if you want to slip, you know, some money in there, if you're going to the farmer's market or something, you want to just slip some money in there, you're just quick running out the door for something. And then I also, if my phone rang, I also made a little pocket in here. So if you want to put in your credit card or your driver's license in there, and then you can fit your cell phone right in there and off you go. All right, so let me tell you how I made that. The first thing that I did was I measured the cell phone, and my cell phone was 3 by 6 inches. And so in order to get the size that I needed, because everybody's cell phone is a little different, you may not have an iPhone, maybe you have, you know, a Samsung and it's bigger or something. So I measured this, mine was 3 by 6, and I added 2 inches. And the reason that I added 2 inches is so that it would fit in here nicely. It wouldn't go all the way to the top, and then I had room to get my hand in there as well. So I cut my fabric. This is my front of my fabric, and I cut it to 5 by 8. So I cut 2 pieces. And then to get the pocket in the front, I cut a 5 by 7 inch piece of fabric. And what I did was I took it to the iron and I folded it under 1/4 inch twice. And then I just top stitched that. So now your front is pretty much ready. And then I did add batting. You can add batting if you want. I like the batting, it made it feel softer. Or you could just use a stiff fusible interfacing. And I made my batting the same size as my cover, so it is also 2 pieces, 5 by 8. And then I did the same thing for the inside. I had my 2 pieces, 5 by 8. And then here is my inside pocket, which I turned under 1/4 inch twice, and I top stitched it. And so then the other thing I did was I took 2.5 inch strips of the width of fabric, and I sewed it together like a binding. So you can see my seam right in there. Just like you would make a binding, that's how I sewed it. And then what I did was I folded it in half, wrong sides together, and I pressed it so I had a center line all the way down. And then I folded the outside edges in, pressed it all the way down, and folded it one more time again. And then I edge stitched it on each side all the way down. So you can see the edge stitching there. And it made a nice sturdy strap. And then after I stitched it, I trimmed it up to between 50 and 52 inches is really good length for a crossbody bag. So let me show you how I put this together, okay? So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your front and your back. So here is my front and my back. And you're gonna layer it with a piece of batting, and this is right side up. And you're going to put your batting on the back side, and the same with the front, except with the front, or whichever side is the front, you are also going to lay your pocket on there, and so that the 3 raw edges line up. And then you will put these right sides together and stitch all the way around on 3 sides like I did here. So I stitched all the way around on 3 sides. Let me get this out of the way. okay? And I did the same exact thing with the lining. So right side up, except no batting, right sides together. Oops, I'm sorry. And then I put this up, okay? And then right sides together. So your little pocket is getting sandwiched in between your two layers, and you're gonna sew on all three sides, just like I did on this one, okay? And now let me show you how to put it all together. Once your strap is stitched, I'm gonna quick show you how to put this together. So here's what's really cool, is I'm gonna leave this inside out, or right sides together, and I'm gonna turn the outside of my bag right side out. And if you want to, you can trim the batting so that it will have less bulk in the seams, but you know, this isn't a fancy bag, and I'm not sure anybody's gonna look inside. And then let me get something to push those corners out with. And there we go. So now, as you can see, here's my little pocket that was on the inside of the bag, okay? And it's all stitched, top stitched. Now what I can do with this lining is I'm going to put my bag literally right inside my lining. And I'm going to put it so that the two pockets are together. So the pocket is on this side and the pocket is on this side. And I'm going to stick that right so that the pockets are together. And I'm going to push this all the way in so that it is nice and flat in there. And because this is a smaller bag, it is a little hard to maneuver, but it's really cute and you get to use your scraps. So I'm just using the same thing that I push my corners out with. And now that is in there. Oh, you know what? I have to back up. I'm going to pull this out because I forgot the straps. We want to put the straps in here. So we're going to put the strap next to your outside of your bag. I'm sorry about the mistake there. So good thing I caught it first. And then you're going to take this all the way around and making sure that your strap isn't twisted, and put it on the other seam, just like that. And I'm going to pin it. So I'm glad I made that mistake instead of telling you how to do this and then have to undo it. Okay, now you're going to take all of this, and what I did was I kind of just tucked the strap into my little pocket so that it would be out of the way. And now I'm going to put it inside my bag. Make sure that pin is in there good. And now I'm going to put this right inside the bag and pockets together. Okay. And we will get that tucked in here. It is a lot of strap, but it's so worth it because I really like the crossbody because it's not slipping off me and I'm not looking for it, and it hangs right where I want to. And now again, I am going to make sure that those straps are tucked in there because I don't want to sew my straps into my seam allowance. And I'm going to pull this up. I think I got my pin stuck in there. And I'm going to match up my seams. Now, if you're a pinner, this is where you would want to pin, and it might be a good idea to pin again where the handles are. Okay. And I'm going to stick a pin in there one more time where those handles are. And one on this side. Let me snap that right into place. Okay, now I got it. Okay, then I'm going to take this to my machine and I am going to stitch all the way around the top, except I'm going to leave a little bit for an opening. So I am going to, when I have to turn something, I'm going to take a couple stitches in to my 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then I'm going to pivot, leaving my needle down and pivot. And then I sewed the bag from the inside out, and then I can make sure that I have everything, and I'm just going to keep turning this little bag and making sure that I have a really good, generous 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then just a little bit more because the bag isn't so big. And if you want to, where those little handles are, you can back stitch across there. And now, when I am done where I want to leave an opening for turning, I'm going to stitch out this way. And I'll show you why that works out so well. So now you can see where I stitched in on this side and stitched out on this side. So I'm going to take these pins out and I'm going to reach in this little bag and I'm going to pull the other pins out so that way I'm not poking myself when I'm turning the bag inside out. So there's one, and here comes the other, and there's two. And now I can just take my bag, and I use my handles to help me, and I'm going to pull it right side out. And then once I pull it right side out, I am going to tuck my lining back into my bag. And I will use my turner to get it into place. To help poke that down in there. I poked the pocket, so I'm still poking this down in here. And then, I can get my whole hand in there. And then what happens is once you get that bag in there and you get your lining lined up, you can literally see, oh, this isn't quite lined up. I'm struggling a little bit here with this. That's because I'm poking the pocket in and not the lining. Okay. Now when I get this all lined up at the top again, I'm pulling my handles out. So everything is even. This will literally snap right in so that you have a nice even stitch. And when you do that, when you're all done, you can top stitch all the way around, just like I did on this cell phone bag. And your hole will be closed. And then you will also have your little pocket on the inside, and on the opposite side, you have your little pocket on the outside. So that's it for you today, the crossbody cell phone bag. I literally made this, cut this out and made it in about a half hour. As you can see, the hardest part is just turning it inside out. And it's cute, and you can, I mean, a lot of young girls would love these, I think. So that's it for today, and I will have this sample for you in the shop. Thanks for stopping. Bye-bye.